by the sort of post-mortem and analysis that we are bringing to you on the eve of the weekend. My name is Kwa Victor, and I've been joined by the Ghana, James Ohimba Makion, the Ghana. Welcome.
Thank you.
Do I need to welcome? We always a usual face, so
Yeah,
no
okay.
need. Now we'll quickly go to the Ghana Premier League match day 31, and we'll just take some short snipers of some of the fixtures in there. Don't forget, aside Asante Kotoko and House of Folk, there's also a big game we need to look at between Nations and Aduana Stars. And so we'll have it on the screens. There we have it. Aduana FC will take on Nations FC. Accra Lions will take on Bechem United, whilst Karela will sit at home to Nswatriman. Asante Kotoko and House of Folk is a game that everybody's looking forward to. Great Olympics will try to settle scores with Bekum Chelsea, whilst Gold Stars will face Dreams FC, who are flying at the moment. They are the talk of town. Bofakwa Tano will take on Midiema SC, whilst Real Tamale United, the straggling team, will take on Legon City's House of Lions, who will be sitting at the Kando Sports Stadium, will take on FC Samatex, who are the league leaders at the moment. James, big fixtures.
Yeah, these are interesting fixtures going to the weekend. Obviously, the biggest one of them is the Asante Koto and Accra House of Folk game at the Babayara Sports Stadium. But let's take a look at the other games. First of all, Aduana Football Club versus Nations FC. Aduana are currently third on the Ghana Premier League, whilst Nations FC are second on the Premier League. It's just 2 points separating these sides. Nations FC have 48 points, whilst Aduana Stars have 46 points. So there's the permutations in here. If Aduana are able to beat Nations FC, they overtake them for them to occupy the second position. For Nations FC, if they're able to beat Aduana Stars, they keep their hopes of catching Samatex at the top, and also hoping that they'll be able to win the Ghana Premier League for the first time in their history. However, between Aduana Stars and Nations FC, if the game ends in a draw, it's an advantage for Samatex to extend the lead.
Okay.
So that's
a bit of the standing we have. James, you can continue.
So I was saying that if that game between Nations FC and Aduana Stars ends in a draw, there's an opportunity for FC Samatex to extend their lead at the apex of the league. That gives them an opportunity to extend their lead to about 58 points, which mathematically gives them a higher percentage of winning the Ghana Premier League. So I think that is one of the games we need to look out for. Aduana Stars are playing at home. In their last 3 games, they've been winning all of those games. They've been consistent about their style of their playing, about scoring a lot of goals. Nations FC, on the other hand, this time around, they are not playing at the Dr. Kwame Sports Complex.
Their favorite ground.
Exactly. They are going on an opponent's territory, which is a territory, it's a fortified one for the Doma people. And especially, I'm sure the Doma people will come to the stadium to watch this very game, because it's an interesting game to watch. Apart from that, I think BBN Go Stars and Dreams FC were able to escape from the relegation zone. Just this, I think it was on Wednesday when we were here discussing. They beat Legon Cities by 2 goals. So that gave them the opportunity to get out of the relegation zone. Currently, they are 13th on the log with 38 points, while BBN have 40 points, just 2 points separating their sides. And the Ghana Premier League this season is such a way that once you lose a game, or once you lose 2 consecutive games, you are going down the drain. You are going to the relegation zone. And already for me, I've already said that for RTU, they've already been relegated. So from the 8th position, that's Bekum Chelsea.
But Prince, I said Prince James.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that they've got one outstanding fixture, but they have 4 more or 5 more games to play.
Talking about
RTU, if things
they've played 29 games now.
29, yeah.
So they have 5 games.
If everything is constant and they're able to win, they are 5 matches, 15 points. At least it could help them.
Yeah, it could help them, but you need to take a look at the teams they are facing. They will be facing, I think they will be facing Kumasi and Kotoko in the coming games. For Kotoko, they are facing all the 3 sides. They are facing Great Olympics. They also face Bofakatono. They also face RTU in the last 9 members of the season. So for RTU, they also face Accra House of Folk. So these 2 teams will be in the picture, and I think it will be very very difficult for RTU to get these points against these teams. So I think that the weekend games is exciting in the Ghana Premier League. I think we need to look forward to it. For the Asante Kotoko game, in the last for Prosper Ogum, he has never lost to Accra Suffolk as the manager of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. He only lost to Accra Suffolk when he was at Wafa, where that season that Suffolk won the league. Suffolk beat them by 4-0 at home. So there we have it on our screen. Dr. Prosper Ogum's records versus Suffolk. So Suffolk, when he was at Wafa, Suffolk beat them by 4-0 in that season. In the return leg, Wafa beat them by a goal. But when he came to Asante Kotoko as the head coach, in his first stint, that game ended in a goalless draw. Then Kotoko beat them by 1-0. Then this season at the Barbara Sports Stadium, Suffolk lost 3-2 to them. So in terms of Prosper Ogum's history with Accra,
it looks like he's got the antidote to keep
exactly. And he's also playing at home. And looking at the statistics, whenever he plays at home against Accra Suffolk, he always have the upper hands over them. So I think that's.
So is it Ogumbo? You refer to, at a point they were saying Ogumbo. I don't know where that word has vanished to.
This time there's nothing like Ogumbo. Now, Asante Kotoko fans are so reserved in their expectations.
You have to be realistic, my brother. You have to be.
They are so reserved in their expectations because gone are the days coming to meet Accra Suffolk. You hear a lot of them making noise about you better show 4-0, so 5-0 no Moshana, so 4-0 no you better see. But this time they are very very reserved. Same can be said of Accra Suffolk. It comes down to the point that these two clubs are not performing so well in there. From last season tonight, I think about 4 seasons ago, it got to a point where mathematically these two teams could have gone on relegation.
Certainly.
And this season around too, one is on the 10th position, one is on the 12th position, and there's no way they can even get to the top.
Yeah, and
one thing that bothers me is
the point difference is just 2. Asante Kotoko on 40, Suffolk on 38. Bad.
Exactly. And one thing that bothers me too is their goal difference. I don't know whether we can have.
Yeah, I think we have that.
Their goal difference, because Asante Kotoko, looking at the strikers they have, Stephen Mukwala, Enoch Morrison, Baba Yaya, Isaac Opon. These are good players on any day that should be giving you the goals. You have a creator in that particular midfield in the person of Richmond Lamptey, who creates a lot. You have a person like Justice Blay who's able to defend. The same can be said of Accra Suffolk. For Accra Suffolk, they don't have scorers in that team.
Yeah.
If you take out Hamza Issa, the rest Gledo Tanga is not scoring. Linda Ntangi is not consistent. Sisi scores once in a while.
Kasim is not getting used to the foreign weather.
Exactly.
The Ghanaian weather.
So just look at their head-to-head in the Ghana Premier League this season. 40 points for Asante Kotoko, 38 points for Accra Suffolk. All of them have played 30 games. Asante Kotoko have won 11, with Suffolk winning 9. Drawn games 7 for Asante Kotoko, 11 for Accra Suffolk, and both Kotoko have lost 12, Suffolk have lost 10. Just look at goals scored. 30 games, just 28 goals scored by Asante Kotoko. That's a bad record.
It's not clicking.
30 goals. So that means averagely, if you are even calculating, you can't get a goal per game. If you are dividing it by the number of games they've played and number of goals, they are getting less than a goal per game. That's what it means.
That's bad for a big club like
and
Kotoko,
the same. I think for Accra Suffolk they score 30 goals. So averagely every game they score 1 goal. But the problem is the number of goals they are conceding. Kotoko has scored 28 goals. They've conceded 27 goals.
Okay.
Just a difference of +1 goal. For Accra Suffolk, 30 goals scored, 27 goals conceded. So that tells you that the strikers are not scoring and the defenders too are not defending that well. For Accra Suffolk, I thought that the signings they made ahead of the season was very good. They brought in Kelvin Esibe from Techima 11 Wonders. They brought in Ashibe from Bechem United. He was the captain there. At a point in time, he captained the team. I think these two pairs were so good, but it got to somewhere in the middle of the season that defense broke down Dennis Nkrumah has not been that consistent. Looking at the goalkeeping department, Richmond Ayi from last season, this time around they are doing a lot of rotation in
They've
the
been
goalkeeping.
drinking goals.
Richard Atta. You see, if you want to win the Ghana Premier League, or if you want to win any league in the world, this position, your goalkeeping department, it needs to be consistent. Your centre backs, they need to be consistent. Your defensive midfield, if you are playing a double pivot, those players need to be consistent. If you are playing just one pivot, that player needs to be consistent. And then also for the strikers, you need to get a consistent strike. But if you rotate these important positions in the team, you find yourself wanting. And for Asante Kotoko, I think they are facing that same issue. Frederick Asare started the season; he's been doing so well, but all of a sudden, Moise Pote is the one in the post, and I think that's telepathy and understanding between them is not clicking well. So for them, I think that they are going through, for these two things, they are going through a lot. And for me, I don't think it's something good to write home about. Going from next season, they should do something about
then
it.
even a captain, Richmond Lante, at a point, salary issues. It looks like he has fallen out of favor with the high rank fellow of the club. And I mean, a lot is happening. And look, that's what I have said. That look, this big traditional clubs, House of Folk and Asante Kotoko, to be specific, they need to rewrite their wrongs. They need to do their homeworks well and learn from some of these new clubs. Samatex, look at where they are. They have not been long in the Ghana Premier League, but they are already leading. Look at Nations FC. Dr. Che, from his experience in managing some of Kotoko and then other clubs, look, he has brought it to bear on his own club, Nations FC, and I think that it's a lot of big fit for Nations FC and the rest. But James, let me come back to you. I was asking Abel Frames earlier on the show about the euphoria that the goosebumps that he had during those days at House of Folk and Kotoko played. Did you have one?
Yeah, definitely I had one. Even I won't go back in recent years. I think it was an FA Cup game. I think it was a semi-finals, and that game went on penalties. That was around 2019. The euphoria at the stadium was mad. There was one other game where the day that Efriye Barnes played his first game for Accra Suffolk, it was against Asante Kotoko. In that game too, Matthew Enim Kujo also featured in that game. This were the time that these two youngsters were seen on the local scene.
One was a rejected product.
Exactly, from Asante Kotoko. Coming to Accra. So when he was given that opportunity, you could see glimpses of hope in him, the way he was playing. I think he was the one who hit the crossbar in that process. Then quickly Maswa Kurenu had to do that change and bring in Matthew Nimkujo. There was a point in that game where he dribbled past Mohamed Alassane at that time. The stadium erupted.
The senior man.
They gave him a lot of money. So I think that even in recent years, we've seen that particular. Remember in 2017 that FA Cup final in Tamale, Asante Kotoko versus Accra Suffolk, Sadiq Adams scoring those 3 goals. So I think that it all boils down to the performance of the teams in the season. If these two teams are performing well, and there's a fixture for them to meet, that game will sell itself. There's no need for someone to come and sit on TV to talk that Hearts Kotoko Bones Munko Stadium. So imagine if Hearts were first on the league log, whilst let's say Kotoko was third. Maybe they are being separated by just 4 points. Just look at that scenario.
With 3 matches to go.
Just look at that scenario. People will troop into this, but the season that these two clubs are not performing well, automatically it affects the way the fan base troop into the stadium.
Wow, I think that I agree with every word James has said. But James, will you say that the kind of players these teams tend to keep these days, House of Kotoko, those days you have so many big names, Sekufo, Ismail Aldo, you can talk about even Glasson Awako, at a point, even in recent time, Patrick Razak, in recent times, you can so many players. Will you say that the flashing off of some of these big players or this talent have affected the way fans patronize some of these super classes?
It's not only between these two clubs, House and it's I think it's a general problem in the Ghana Premier League, because first of all, let me say that football has changed. It's not about because you're a big club automatically you should have all the big players playing for you. you should have all the players playing for you. Take an example. Let's take Accra Lions for example. Accra Lions today can sell a player directly to Europe.
Certainly.
But those days, if you play at a lesser club, you need to transfer that player to Accra Suffolk or Asante Kotoko for him to be seen by the European market before they come to buy him. But this time around, a player can be playing in Division 2. The player can go on trials at Chelsea. Because it means that the talent is spread across all the clubs in the Ghana Premier League. And it's even being shown in the league. If you take the league table, for example, it's being shown in there.
Yeah.
Do you get it? So this time around, it's not that if you're a big talent, you should be at Asante Kotoko, you should be at Accra Suffolk. Take Nations FC or BBN Go Stars for example, or even let's say Dreams FC. There are certain Ejenim Boateng in there.
Yeah.
He has never played for Suffolk. He has never played for Asante Kotoko, but he is a big name in there. Take Abdul Jalilu, Abdul Issa, the 18-year-old. We all know Newcastle are chasing him.
Certainly.
Hoffenheim are chasing him. He's not playing for Asante Kotoko. He's not playing for Suffolk. It is because Dreams FC can transfer him directly to Europe without going through these two clubs. And if you're a player, in recent years, just mention the players that these two clubs have sent directly to Europe.
It's been
not South Africa or East Africa or Iraq.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
In the last, I can even extend it into the last 5 years. Even Salim Adams, he went to the USA, he came back.
Cincinnati, and then
now he's going to Sudan. So even if you look at the track records of these two teams, in the last 3 or 4 seasons, they've not been able to sell any player directly to Europe. Maybe you talk about a free buy who has gone to Switzerland. But is it a top 5 European league those days? Do you get it? But this time around, these lesser known clubs are selling players to the European market. So there's no need or there's no passion for players to move to Asante Kotoko because they want to move to Europe or move to us because they want to move to Europe. They can play in these lesser teams, make their mark, and they go into Europe. And again, as I mentioned, it's not only about Haas and Kotoko. We were here when Daniel Lomote was leading the Ghana Premier League in the first season, in the first round. The following round, he went to USM just to play. The same can be said of Kwame Poku. Kwame Poku also went to USM. He was leading the Ghana Premier League at that time. So sometimes about the financial situations in the Ghana Premier League. You can talk about Bedinnego Tete. So first of all, it's about the talents being spread across all the clubs that every good player can move to every club and flourish. And sometimes, even in recent times, the good players moving to Haas and Kotoko are finding it very, very difficult to fit in. Talk about Stephen Amankona of Bekum Chelsea. He goes and he's not able to fit in. Then he goes back to his roots. Look at Augustine Okra. Comes to play for Kotoko, doesn't flourish that well. Goes back to Bechem United. So the talents are they are spread across, and also financial issues. That's the more reason why we've not been able to see consistently players in the Ghana Premier League staying for that long, and also automatically it affects Haas and Kotoko.
Well, very, very brilliant analysis by James Ohima Makwen. But we want to leave you or finish off this House of Kotoko interaction with a video from Stephen Desi Mokwala, who was very confident ahead of the Super Class that Kotoko was going to win that particular game. It will be on your screen very soon, and you hear the striker making that big revelation. Before that, the goalkeeper also, Frederick Asai, also said that he's very confident that they'll be able to give the fans something to be excited about on Sunday when they take on Accra House of Folk. The phobia bets, whether they'll stay in the sky or they'll be shot. Well, we'll live to see.
So for best day, they'll shoot at them. You should describe them as the rainbow. The rainbow, yeah, also.
Well, as we don't have a lot.
Talking about Mokwala, I think that he's having a good season so far. Out of the 28 goals that... Okay, let's have a listen.
Okay, so yes, let's listen to him.
Basically, what I can say, they should expect more energy this time round. You know, we're just from the lows, and which is not favoring the team as well. Yeah, but this Sunday's match, I just urge the fans to come in plenty, to come and support us. They should just be behind us, and we are going to give our best for this season.
The supporters should come plenty. they should come in their numbers. What time are you truly expecting them to be present at the stadium? The stadium opens at 10 a.m. So what time are you expecting them?
Hopefully by 11:30 or 12, they should be in plenty. They should be in their numbers. Me as a person, I know Kotoko. Kotoko is the best team in Ghana, no doubt about that. So if we're in that position, so I don't think there's any team which is hungrier than us. So I believe we shall be more angry than them on Sunday. Now most of the parts I will leave it to the technical team, but we as a players we have also converged and we see how best we can give out a good results on Sunday. We are much more determined, as a team. Even individuals were also determined. We are ready to give our all. Yeah, we know we are not in a good position.
Wow, so confident Stephen Desimokwala speaking there ahead of the Super Clash on Sunday. But before I get back to Makion, once again, let me pick one or two messages that have been floating in. This is coming in from Elizabeth Say. She stays around East Legon. She says that on Sunday, I'm a big House of Folk fan, but I think that my team has not been performing. But I wish them good luck in Kumasi. This one is coming from Inshiraba Kojo at Alajos. He says that, well, the Super Class is going to be big on Sunday, but unfortunately, the two teams are not living up to the expectation. But I wish them very well. And the last one is coming from